In the beginning, you are nobody. Who are you? The fans cry. You're in over your head, the papers say. But you don't listen, even when the losses come, when the board says the clock is ticking, when everyone says it's over.
What we've tried to do with Football Manager 2010 is really improve the experience of playing the game for both new and old users alike. With Football Manager 2009, it was actually our best-selling game ever. We had, I think it's 22 weeks at #1 in the UK in the PC chart, and we're also voted the second best game of all time by Radio 1 listeners, which is a pretty amazing accolade to get. But none of us in the studio were really that happy, particularly with the box release. It wasn't up to the standards that we set ourselves. I think it got there after a few patches. What we want with FM 2010 is to really have that experience from day one. We've spent a lot of time working with our community, but also doing usability studies for people who've never played the game before, and tried to look at what areas of the game people were able to find easily, which parts they couldn't be bothered playing, and also seeing quite how in-depth they go with the game. And we learnt a lot from doing this. We've completely overhauled the interface for the game this year, just to make it look a little bit less like something that you'd see at work. You know, we've been influenced a lot by the internet and also by things like iTunes and various other apps that we use here, to just try and make it feel more like fun when you're playing the game. And a lot of the features that have been added have been things where the game has always gone into a lot of depth, but we weren't actually introducing that depth to the user very well, or making it easy for them to use. So something like the backroom advice section, which means that your staff will advise you on tactics and players to sign and things throughout your whole game world, which players should be being asked to do what in training and things like that. Some of that stuff was already in the game, some of it's new, but there was no easy way for a user to find it. So we've worked very hard on trying to improve that side of things, as well as a host of new features, and really refining a lot of the old ones as well. For many years in our games, we've had a tree menu on the left-hand side, which has been the main navigation area for a lot of users. But there are actually two other ways to navigate the game as well, and we decided to cut one of those out and try and have a main focal point. So the navigation of the game has now moved to the top part of the screen, which is an area that most people look at most of the time anyway. We've also got a calendar timeline there, so you can always find out what's happening in the next few days. And trying to make it so that options that were slightly hard to find in old menus are now a lot easier to find in the new menus. A lot of the work has been done working alongside a company called Flow, who are usability experts. So we've spent a lot of time doing usability testing and usability studies on the new interface, seeing what people like and what they don't like. As with all of our previous interfaces for the last few years, the game is completely skinnable. So at launch, you're going to see two skins for the game, a light skin and a dark skin, because some people thought that the skin was a little bit too bright. So I've done a darker version of it as well. Also, if you install the game through Steam, you don't have to buy it through Steam, but there are two installation choices when you purchase the game, a boxed copy or digitally, and you can install the game through Steam. One of the bonuses of doing that is we're actually going to release a version of the Football Manager 2009 skin for FM 2010. So if you are an experienced user and you really can't do without your tree menu, then you can have it back, although I would plead with everyone to give the new system a chance first, because once you do get used to it, it's so much easier to find things. Talking to the community has also been imperative, and we've spent a lot of time on the forums. We've actually got a guy based in our QA department here now whose full-time job is to go through the forums and talk to people on there about the issues that they have with the game, the bugs that they have with the game, and logging feature suggestions from the forums. Getting feedback on that is really important. So we've expanded the off-site beta test team that we have as well, which is made up from people who've put together really good constructive criticism on our forums, or who are reporting bugs in a way that's easy for us to understand. And we started testing a lot earlier this year as well. So hopefully that will lead to a much better experience for the customer when the game does come out on October the 30th. With any of the features that go into our games, we always expand upon them year on year, and whilst we were relatively happy with 3D view last year, obviously if we want to reach the heady heights of the amazing graphics that you see in some football and other sports games at the moment, we've still got a long way to go. So we've got over 100 new animations inside the game, as well as improving on every single other animation inside. On top of that, we've also got crowds in the game and stadiums. So each club that you manage or each ground that you visit will be different, because in real life they're different as well. And the way it all works is basically we've got lots of jigsaw puzzles, lots of different types of stand, and the game will put all those bits of stand together. If the stadium is full and sold out, you will see a full stadium. But if it's half full, half the stadium will be empty, because certainly on a lot of other sports titles, the stadium's just full the whole time and you've got a static crowd sitting there. It's not realistic. We've also improved the shadows and lighting inside the game, made those a lot more realistic, which was very important with the new stadium module, as well as adding weather effects into the match engine. Now, again, the weather effects aren't just there for, oh, look, you can see rain on the screen. If it's raining in real life when you're playing football, different things happen on the pitch. The ball might get stuck. Players might turn slower. And things like that are all replicated inside the match engine as well. We do, in the long term, want to be the best looking football game on the market, not just football management game. But we're doing what we can each year to try and reach that goal. One of the results that came back from the usability studies that we were doing was regarding the tactics module. We felt that we needed to do something more football based and make it easier for people, because the sliders were